November last year. Basically just scanned IP ranges. These IP ranges, which belong to different operators around the world who had iPhones in their, who were selling iPhones, including quite a few operators around the world. Whenever it found an iPhone, it checked if port 22 is open, which is the SSH port. And then it tried logging in as root using the password Alpine. And of course, every single iPhone in the world has the same root password, which is Alpine. So if you had jailbroken your iPhone and installed SSH, but haven't changed your root password, you got owned. What did this worm do once it infected your phone? Well, it changed the wallpaper on your iPhone to an image of Rick Astley. Yes, very funny. What wasn't so funny was that 3 weeks later, we found a modified version of the same worm. This time, it did no visible changes at all. This time, once you get infected, you wouldn't be able to tell that you're infected. Here's a snippet of the source code of that second worm. If you look close here in the bottom, you can actually see it issuing, this is a shell script, so it issues a curl command to connect to this IP address, and this IP address is in Lithuania, belongs to a hacked ad agency. And as you can see, it downloads a PHP file. When this was going on, I went to that website. I just downloaded the same PHP file. And look at this. This audience should actually be able to get this. I'm downloading a PHP file. You can see here that what I'm getting is 404 not found. What's wrong with the image? What's wrong? What's going wrong here? This isn't actually the way it's supposed to be. Exactly. Very good. Header says 200 OK. So what I'm getting a HTML file which says 404 not found. But actually the file is there. I got a file which just tells me that. Which to me immediately tells that, okay, there's something here. It's the right site, but I'm doing something wrong. So I went back to the source code. I looked at the user agent. Yes, it used a special user agent called HTML get 1.0. So when I just repeated the same file request with HTML get 1.0 as the user agent, I got a different file. This time I got a shell script. 4 lines of shell script, which was executed on the iPhone. Look at that. It modifies the etc hosts file on the infected iPhone, changing the iPhone so that every time you try to access the host name million.ing.nl, it goes to this IP address instead. Instead of going to the Netherlands, where .nl is, it goes to this IP address, which is in Tokyo. And anybody from the Netherlands here? No? How do you say? Of course, Richard. How do you say million? Million. Mine. Mine.ing.nl, which means me.ing.nl, basically. So it's my online bank with the ING bank, which is one of the largest banks in Europe. So if you were doing online banking from your iPhone in ING and you were infected, let's take a look. That's the website of ING. You can see the URL right here, https million.ing.nl/internetbankieren. That's the real site. That's the login for their online bank. Now look carefully. I'm going to change the host name from ing.nl to the IP address. Now we are in Tokyo, and the site looks the same. So it's a full copy of the site. And this changed the fact that when you're doing this from your infected phone, you actually don't see this at all. And the real site was actually a hacked site selling pottery in Japan. So they hacked it because they had an SSL certificate, and they needed an SSL certificate for the hack to work. So these are the 2 iPhone Trojans we see. So it's a banking Trojan trying to steal people's money. And I don't think it was very successful. I think it would actually be much more smarter from the attackers not to try to do complex things like these, but instead just make international calls to premium rate numbers and get money instantly. And that's where I believe the future of mobile malware will be. Thank you very much.